Welcome to A Piece of CX. This week we're taking a look again at a Zoom virtual agent. So this is the version 2 of the virtual agent, the latest version. And we had a video on the channel recently where we walked through the initial setup, and we've got in front of me the Holt CX Consultancy bot. It greets, it gives guidance, and we've got some knowledge bases for it to tie into so that we can ask it questions. But what we didn't do was go into skills and how we make it truly agentic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my list of virtual agents, and you'll see we've got virtual agent 2.0. We now have chat agent 2.0 as well. Exactly the same, just for chat. We still have our classic as well if we want to play around with the classic. So I am just going to start by creating a new agent, and I'm going to start here with just a blank, but you'll see we've got a number of options available to us. So what we'll do is we'll come back to these later on in the video, see how we build those out. I'm going to start from blank though, and I am going to give it a name. So we'll call this Holt CX, and we're going to give it Agentic at the end. We can give the guidance. So this is what you're meant to be doing. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to copy exactly what I had for my previous one. And then we could actually refine that with AI assistance as well, if we want to. And we are just going to change that greeting. So this is all stuff that we covered previously. So next, we're just going to select an agent, and then we're going to select our knowledge. Now we're going to start looking at adding skills. So we have a few options here. We'll come back to create a tool in a moment, but we're going to click add skill, and we are going to give it a name. So if we go across to our tool templates, then here we can see there are a number out of the box from Zoom. So there are 7 already available to us. One-time password, for example, live transfer to an agent, end conversation. We then have built-in, so these are the same ones again, and custom. So custom is when you start to code. So I click here, I can give it a name. So we'll say cancel policy. Like so. Give it obviously some details here. And you're going to want to put in your URL. So we'll just do Holt cx.co.uk / API user, and we'll just use the example here, user ID. Obviously, your development team will give you your URL. That is not going to work on my website, but you know. And we've got post, put, delete, for example. So we're going to put a post here, say it's JSON, maybe use a variable, select which variable we're going to use locale for some reason, timeout value, and then we can start adding parameters. So further parameters, certain values that we want in here, and we can add our responses as well. You could also go into custom scripting and just write this as code if you really want to. So depending on how you want to work, you've got a few options there. So I come back to this, and then I'm just going to click create. That will create that. So when we are within our virtual agent build, we call this, say, cancel policy. So actually we don't want this to be what the customer is going to say. So we say use this skill when needs. And we can give it some instructions. We can also put /, and then we can go into the tool and we can build that like so. Save and add that. We can add other skills as well. So we might add one of those other ones. So we'll call this transfer to agent. Again, we're just going to look for that transfer to live agent. Save and add. So we add those into our skill. What that means is when we then start to test this, it will start to do certain things. So we begin the test and we say something along the lines of, Tell us more about Holt CX Consultancy.
Hi. I'd be happy to tell you about how Holt CX works with Salesforce. Let me search for that information for you. I don't have specific information about Holt CX's Salesforce services in my knowledge base. Would you like me to transfer you to a human agent who can provide those details?
I want to speak to an agent.
I understand you'd like to speak with a human agent. Let me transfer you now.
So because we've built that skill into it, it knows that it can offer that service, and then you can bring
Hi.
that into...
Thanks.
Let me just stop that now. Because we've added that skill, we now have that ability to offer that transfer. And likewise, if I said, oh, I want to cancel, then that comes into it. Where this gets also interesting is in the app marketplace. So when we launch marketplace, what we can see here is we have some options for contact center. We don't necessarily have many options for virtual agent at the moment, but that is going to build over time and make this even more capable, because you'll just be able to call upon common integrations. I mean, if you look for Zoom meetings, there are over 2,000. So just think how this is going to build over time with these capabilities into the virtual agents. Finally, if we go back to our virtual agent build here, then we could just use the template. We'll see, have a look at these. We've got IT help desk, and you'll see actually the guidance is a lot more thorough than what I was creating in my demo. It's giving guardrails, it's giving goals, all of that kind of stuff. We've got our agent greeting, we've got our default language. We'll go and put a certain phrase in there. We don't necessarily need to have knowledge at this point. And we've got tool names as well if we want to have them. So we have all of these guardrails, which means the conversation only sticks on the topics that we want it to. So there you have it, some of the updates and skill and templating options within Zoom Virtual Agent. Thank you very much for watching.